All right, guys. Well, this week's guest to the show is Manafest. You guys have seen him here on our music video blocks. He's even performed live on Project JCTV. He's all over the place, all over JCTV, and we love it. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Most definitely. Well, we know you for your awesome music, okay? But we're excited to talk about a new book, this new project that you have, just coming out. So excited to talk about your new book, Fighter. And I know before we kind of get into some of the key points that you're addressing in this book, can you kind of just tell me a little bit about how this project came about and kind of what the basic concept is about this new book?
Yeah, for sure. Well, when I quit my job to do music full time, I was on the road all the time, and it wasn't easy. And I was discouraged sometimes and felt like giving up so many times. I almost went broke and a bunch of crazy stuff. And it was the books that I started to read and the stories of people and some of these successful men and women. And it wasn't always easy, but they didn't give up. And I found inspiration in all these stories to keep me going. And once I finally started to have some success, I felt like, man, maybe I should share my story. Maybe I can encourage some other people too. Definitely. And that's when I started to write the book and the whole idea of fighter and fighting for your dreams and your passions. Yeah.
Right. So you and I were talking a little bit earlier, and you really did have some hard things that happened to you in your childhood, and some things you had to overcome, lessons that had to be learned, and now you are where you are today. Can we kind of talk about your personal story and some of the things that kind of helped shape you and were difficult things to overcome?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I lost my dad to suicide when I was about 5 years old.
Wow.
It was crazy. My mom found him in the basement there, and it was just really gnarly. And so I became very introverted at the time, very shy, very timid. I had a lot of fear. I didn't have a father figure in my life to show me certain things. And so I had to overcome that and the whole childhood in public school and getting bullied and all that stuff.
Right.
But there was a man that approached my mom and said, hey, can I be a father figure to this kid? Wow. And he actually began to pour his time and energy and take me on hikes and teach me kinds of stuff. And he ended up really being that, father to the fatherless, like the Bible talks about.
Yeah.
And that encouraged me huge.
I'm sure.
And just having that. And so I just always realized, what the devil meant for my bad, God was able to turn it around for my good. So that was a huge thing that really overcame. But it wasn't until I really started skateboarding that I found this new dream and this new passion, that I found some identity. And then from there, I ended up finding Jesus as well. My mom forcing me to go to Bible camp and meeting God, and my life started to turn around a bit.
Yeah. And you mentioned skateboarding, and that was actually a bit of an accident that you had that was kind of an important kind of happening on your timeline of events, right? Tell me about that. What happened, and how did that kind of change things for you?
Well, it's crazy. Just even thinking about it, it's kind of like how, I lost my dad, but then, someone came in my life, and then I found skateboarding, which pulled me out of a dark place, and it was an amazing season, new friends, and just, life. And then that fell apart because I had an accident, and I hurt my foot, and I couldn't skate for like 3 months. Wow. And I also got dumped by a girl that said she loved me, but because I wouldn't sleep with her, I actually got dumped. So my heart was broken, skateboarding was taken away from me, and then that's when I started to write music.
Okay.
And, now fast forward years later, I love writing music. I have this passion. I'm glad I'm actually a full-time artist or musician as opposed to, a skateboarder, even though I still love skateboarding.
Right.
And so it's funny how these little, moments in life that they connect.
Right. And they don't make sense in the moment, right? Because you see and you're thinking, why would this happen to me? But then, like you said, years later, you can see kind of this perfect timeline of how God moved you through different seasons.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's almost like God shows us just a little glimpse so we can just have that faith to keep going and keep fighting and persevering after it.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, let's start to talk about some of the points. I know that's part of the title on here. It's 5 keys of conquering fear and reaching your dreams. So can we kind of briefly talk about what some of those 5 points are and kind of what they mean to you and how they've helped you?
Yeah. When writing it, I was just trying to come up with the keys that I felt like made up a fighter, and the first one is courage. And that's just all about starting, Like I know there's people out there that have this dream, they have this passion, but sometimes you just got to take that leap of faith and start, and that takes courage. And, Joshua 1:8 talks about being strong and courageous, being strong and courageous. And then once you step out, sometimes life hits and problems happen and things go on, and especially in my life, it was like, you got to persevere. I felt like quitting so many times, whether it was skating or music or, writing the book even, but that's where perseverance and to keep going, even though you feel like quitting, or you even see other people go home and leave, but you stay and you push through. And then having a positive mindset. I talk about having a fighter's mindset. and just, you know, getting the Bible in your mind, getting those
Yeah.
good thoughts and hanging around good people, I think
Right.
is really important, because some people, you know, will, you know, I call them dream killers or dream stealers,
Yeah.
and we need to surround ourselves with good people that are going to encourage us and not be a naysayer or a
Sure.
hater, but going to
Sure.
pump you up.
Encouragement.
And so that'll encourage your mind. And then there's willpower
Mm-hmm.
and discipline I also talk about. And willpower is about, you know, connecting the why to what you do, you know, and having a greater purpose than just yourself.
Right.
Whether it's to help other people or for a cause or what
Yeah.
God's called you to do, that'll give you the gusto to finish it and give you a strong will when the going does get tough and you do feel like quitting.
Yeah.
And then I always look at Olympic athletes or any successful, you know, people. You look at their routine and the disciplines and the certain things they set in their
Right.
life to be successful, whether it's waking up on time or doing certain things each day to get towards their goal, to get towards their dreams,
Right.
is so important. So those are the 5 keys I kind of talk about in the chapter. I share stories within the book about each key about becoming a fighter. Yeah.
Very good. So let's kind of just, you know, talk to our audience right now. Obviously, you know, we're a youth network, and we're, you know, gearing everything towards, you know, young people, and, you know, everyone can probably relate to your story in some way, young, old, any age, any situation, any background. But what would you say specifically to young people who may be watching right now, and, you know, maybe they feel like, gosh, he doesn't understand though, I've been through some hard stuff,
Right.
I don't know how to get out of this. How could you tell them to kind of, you know, help them kind of get out of their circumstance and realize the dreams that they have, and, you know, be willing to move forward to reach them?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You might have a crazier story than me and going through some stuff, but the cool thing is, if you're watching this, you're listening right now, you know, your story's not done.
Right.
You know, you're still writing it.
Right.
You know, and you have the most amazing gift, and that's the power of choice, to decide to choose how you want to respond to those things. Like,
Right.
if I was to pull up statistics of how kids responded when they lost their dad to suicide or whatever, probably wouldn't be too good, but I had that choice, you know, and you're out there right now and you have that choice. I encourage you, you know, to keep going and to seek God and know that, you know, He's got a plan as long as you don't quit, you know?
Yeah, and He can use everybody, right? I mean, no matter what your story looks like, no matter what your background, I mean, you're proof of that. You know, you came from something difficult and now you're making a big difference, and you've turned everything around. You've used it for good, so that's really awesome. And tell us, how can people get a hold of this book? How can people watching right now, is this going to be in bookstores or available online? How can they get a hold of this?
Yeah, it's in Christian bookstores
Okay.
all across the U.S.,
Good.
and then it's also on Amazon,
Good.
and then my website, manafest.net. They can get
Very
it there
cool,
too.
very cool. Okay, well, we're going to do something really special for you guys. Manafest is going to let us give one of these books away, and we're really excited about that. So, and a special little perk, he's here, right? Why not have him sign something? Can we have you sign the
absolutely.
inside the book?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
we're going to make this available as a giveaway to you guys, something
Cool.
kind of fun, right? So go ahead and maybe write a special little to our
Sure.
JCTV friends or something like that. Very cool. Well, we really thank
Absolutely.
you for being here today. Your
Yeah,
story
thank
is
you
very
so
encouraging,
much.
and thanks for always being a part of JCTV stuff. We're playing your music all the time,
Yeah, you
and
guys are awesome.
it's really cool to have you working on this new project.
Cool.
Before we go, though, anything new musically coming out? I know you have a new album, right? Coming out
Yes,
soon?
new album called The Moment, coming out 2014. Really
Good.
excited about it, yeah.
Good. Any kind of details, anything new, any collaborations, anything cool you can tell us about?
You know, it's my most, you know, favorite work so far.
Yeah.
Just new, going back to my roots of where I was, and
Yeah.
and really, really excited about this record.
Very
Yeah.
good. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and
Cool.
thank you for writing this book, and I'm sure
Absolutely.
it's going to make an incredible impact on the youth, so I appreciate
sure.
that.
Oh,
Thanks for being
thanks,
here.
Taylor.
Well, that's all for this episode of Hot Off the Press, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Taylor Ryan. I'll see you guys again next time. Be sure to chat with us on Facebook at facebook.com/JCTVfans, and don't forget to get our free Bible and Journal app on your smartphone today. Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you're going to have a wonderful New Year. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.